Here in Michigan, I'm gonna go live.
Go live, baby.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? I see 20 people waiting. It looks like everybody's in. Well, at least some of you are in. Cheers, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to Behind the Veil, right here in Polarity Science. As always, we have abolished mycology.
I'm here.
I'm looping in my own headphones. I'm driving Becca crazy with this one. We also have Skilbo 1 with us.
Right.
Cheers, guys. Ladies. Becca's with us.
Everybody. I hope that the snowstorm treated you well and that your backs are okay and you're not gut busted from shoveling or anything else.
Quite the week, huh?
Yeah, man.
Past couple days. If you are in the Midwest, well, I suppose if you're anywhere in Michigan, we're like half of our state here in Michigan, the lower half of Michigan, the upper half of probably Ohio and a lot of Illinois, and it's still going on east. Again, one hell of a snowstorm. The East Coast also just got bombarded earlier this week. So I also believe I saw some like lightning, tornadoes, ice storms, and all kinds of stuff, man. Stay safe out there, everybody. If you are involved in any of these crazy weather patterns, take some shelter and ride it out. Ride out the storm, you know. We're all riders on the storm this weekend, so or rather this week into the weekend.
No unnecessary trips.
Take extra time, take extra precautions, and all that fun stuff, you know. Anyways, speaking of precautions, harm reduction.
Are we talking about you wouldn't tell condoms?
Condoms, prophylactic,
intergalactic prophylactics.
Yeah, I like that, Skilbo. Intergalactic prophylactics. We're gonna talk harm reduction slightly. We're going to talk about the entheogenic plant revolution and all kinds of stuff. That's what we do here on Polarity Science. And I'd like to begin with a huge shout out to the Michigan Bros Grow Show. Please find the Michigan Bros Grow Show and please tune in live Sunday and Monday nights. Sundays at 9 p.m. and Mondays at 11 p.m. Eastern time for the late sesh. And we all, as a huge cannabis community, growers. Thank you.
And I do want to say cheers to everybody in chat. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys are with us. We were just talking before we went live on the air that I got a teaser for us. Abolish has been nice enough to let us follow along and watch his progress on what he's been doing as far as cultivating mushrooms. And I said it would be really, really cool if we could get a chance to talk about that maybe and share information and exchange with chat and see what they have to say about things and just grow the community, man.
Can't wait to show that off. We're going to try to put together a nice little high production build video for you guys because this build is pretty cool because the main thing I hear from a lot of people when it comes to this is it's too hard. I need a super sterile room. I need this, I need that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you see how this one's done, no, you don't need all that. You'll be able to do it anywhere, any house, whatever.
Well, like it was start to finish, and then you also have even cover the drying section of it too. So that'll be nice to make sure you guys stay tuned to the show for that. Cheers, Robert. I know you've been having a great time out west. I've watched your progress as you've gone from the Regen conference to Las Vegas and hanging out in front of 710 Haight-Ashbury. So.
I hope everybody did make it back from the Regen conference safely. That was going out on the West Coast.
He's got some nice seeds, man. I don't know if you've seen what he's got.
Well, you know, Dutch Blooms put together something really nice where he took some, I believe, Mean Gene's root beer and some of his own male stock and put them together and kind of was doing like almost like a root beer F2 type of a thing. So, Robert, hopefully you got some of those seeds. Anybody that's attending the Regen conference, from my understanding, gets those seeds. It's very cool. I'm actually considering it's a high ticket price, man. The budget's got to be right. I got to be like hitting lotteries and things like that in the next month for me to be able to go. You know, it's not in my everyday budget this year.
What, 400?
It's like 450 a person. Yeah. So if her and I wanted to go, man, we got to have a very prolific year. So, but you know, I believe in the laws of attraction. I believe in a lot of that stuff. I don't find it out of the realms of possibilities to kind of will abundance into your life in many different forms and ways. One of those ways is right here. We're building this community. If you build it, they will come. I believe in a lot of these things,
That's what
man.
They say.
Yeah, you know, and again, as I always like to say, I want everybody to come. I want y'all to come. So in chat,
I put that on my story today.
All right. And that's in good old fashioned Billy Strings fashion, man. You kind of put that in the title a little bit tonight. We'll slowly get there. We're gonna wander the terrain a little bit tonight, I suppose. The Billy Strings is actually live at the Capitol Theater in Portchester, New York. Portchester, New York, all right, Rochester, I think, I don't know, somewhere in New York. Capitol Theater, one of my bucket list theaters that I do want to get to seeing. He's doing a four-night residency there this weekend. And he's calling this the Deja 2 experiment. Last year was the Deja Vu experiment when he did 4 nights at the Cap, the same weekend. It also signifies the 50th anniversary last year, at least in 2021. This would be in 2021 signifies the 50th anniversary of the Grateful Dead's ESP experiment. This was not conducted by the Grateful Dead.
You mean extrasensory perception?
Extrasensory perception, ESP. This was actually conducted through some different research groups. I have a small little document here. So, but either way, 1971, give or take. They did some preliminary tests that actually involved like Richie Havens and some other people. They did a pilot test earlier in 1970. But the idea was to get somebody, many miles away from a control group, and that person would dream, sleep, in the awakening moments of like REM sleep, would then record what they saw. Now, on the other end of this experiment was groups of people being put through different tests of. Some would know who the person on the other end of the experiment was, and some did not. Those that knew also knew their location. So given the location and the name of the individual, you're able to then project images to their mind. And then when they would come up from the sleep, they would record what they saw. So the people who did not get the names or locations, not so good of information back, but they had successful information through those that I actually knew where the names and locations were. So they took on this experiment to a larger scale, and they went with 2,000 subjects as the audience at a Grateful Dead show. The Grateful Dead played 6 nights, dude. They did a 6-night residency at the Cap. It's one of their most famous residencies that they did. Phenomenal run. If you could imagine, what was it, 18, almost 20 hours of probably not playing the same song twice within that entire run. I almost guarantee that they did not do that.
It's like a 4-hour Dark Star or something.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Yeah, they probably started Dark Star on set 1 and finished it on like set 3 or on set like 12 or whenever like night 3 was or whatever. So or night 6. But yeah, man. So they ended up projecting images during the shows, and then they were supposed to send the images to one person that they knew the name of and they knew the location of. Basically, the name and location would repeatedly announce like over the PAs and put on the projectors behind the screen that the Grateful Dead was playing. Now, mind you, why was the Grateful Dead used? Well, we can get into that in a second as well, but my guess is it had to do with their long history that goes back into psychedelics. So get to the final end. I don't want to rant this on too long, but the conclusion was successful results in the almost positive end of extrasensory perception on the receiver's end. The receiver was able to identify whether or not they were visions, or at least, audio, dictate what the visions were or whatever to describe the visions. But they did not have success at the other individual or the other, control. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted by him, which was the audience did not know the name and location. So it kind of came out that, assuming the name and location, you can almost pinpoint or tune in to those individuals through energy, whatever it is. We don't know what it is. Is mycelium
is fucking
energy,
killing me, man.
That was a good Wookiee sound there.
Eventually I'll get up, I'll calm him down here in a second, let you guys get at. But so my guess is the Grateful Dead was used because they were also used back during the LSD test, the acid tests. I'm gonna try to call him for 1 second right here behind me. But if you guys want to,
we'll just chit chat,
real fast.
chop it up. It is great to hear DOG though. You know what I mean? I feel like he's actually part of the show.
He's such a little cooer. He does it all day.
It is. He sounds like a big fucking pigeon.
We were both doing different things, not in here, and he was just in here crying, like, come back. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. It's no fun.
It's good. I understand Wookie. He was just trying to let everybody know to remember to microdose today.
Oh, maybe that's what he means. Look at, he's staring.
He knows what's up. He knows what time it is.
He knows. He can't hear, but maybe he can hear.
Just don't talk about religion again. That kind of pissed him off.
There we go.
Happy birthday, goddess of the moon.
Yes, happy birthday.
Got birthdays in the house?
Yeah.
We're muted for a second. Happy birthday.
No, I unmuted.
That's what DOG's doing. He's singing happy birthday. We just didn't get the cue for it.
Yeah, he'll fall asleep now. He's got that blanket on. Chill out. He's got to be loved for a minute. You just see Blue Kiss. Dogs do not react to DOG. So that's good. Yeah, he's putting out his own info. That's what she says. Cheers, chat. Cheers, everybody.
I've never heard that one before out of a dog.
Most of the one. But yeah,
the old Houdini. Brrr, stick up.
Speaking of the acid test, Robert Bandula, shout out to him because Captain 420 had Robert Bandula in chat, but Captain 420 on Instagram and everywhere else had, I think it was Captain's Dank 420, something like that. He had a shot of himself under the Height Ashbury sign, and also in front of the house, man. Gary Garcia's house, the old party house, I suppose. I think they all lived there at one time or something like that, unless it's not the same house, but the old house with the American flag hung up on the ceiling and stuff is what I'm imagining.
Like crickets.
Back when he was Captain Trips. Oh, Becca's pointing up to me to go into live chat, by the way.
Oh.
So please hang out in live chat with us. Wook Dog, I see.
I may or may not have been in live chat. Sorry if I missed anybody.
I wasn't in live chat either. So cheers all.
Just me and chat hanging out in live chat. It's okay, guys. I'll read the questions for the others.
I was in live chat. So
you couldn't have been in live chat if you were pointing to him saying we're not in live chat.
I got my phone up over here with chat so I could still read chat and reply.
Oh, so okay, me and you, we're the only ones that are on the phone, Becca.
You are, because I messed up.
That's fine. Whatever.
I was off the ball. Through. You guys got to tune into last week's episode. When I did the book of the week last week, I did the Grateful Dead annotated lyrics book. That should have been this week.
Was just that because last week?
That was last week, I believe. Yeah, that was us. And you know what we did? Like we talked about Sitchin and 12th Planet and all that other stuff. We got into the Lord and the Rings and all kinds of stuff.
And the Rings.
The Lord and the Rings. And I'll tell you what, man, what I should have done, the book of the week last week should have been Sitchin's 12th Planet. It just should have been the 12th Planet. It should have been the because that's where the whole thing went last week was here. And so it's backwards to me. Is it backwards to you guys? Hopefully it's.
I was just about to look.
Okay, so it'll pop up on your. Will it look right to you guys? All right, it totally looks inverted to us. So either way, if you guys want to capture this and take a little read at the expert on the back there, that's what we got there. So
make your screen
that all has to do with Nibiru and Anunnaki and all that stuff. This week, though, we're kind of going to get into
this week on Behind the Veil.
So it should have been this week's book. The lyric book.
I'm watching some.
It takes more than 1 week to read a book. We can discuss things out.
Yeah, we're going to talk. Yeah, it's I'm mostly listening to most of my audiobooks, and then a lot of them I keep for reference if I ever want to get back. That's why I really like Cannabis Pharmacy. I listened to it like 2 or 3 times, but then when I'm like doing my own blogs and stuff like that, I'll get out the reference book, so I don't have to like fuck around on Google or try to listen to it.
It's nice to have it all in one spot.
Rewind 45 seconds. Like it's difficult to find a set of text, audibly. It's a lot easier to visually find the text. So especially if you have it bookmarked or something like that. I like physical copies of books for those reasons. So anyways, I'm fucking around on YouTube today, man. And I'm this time of year, I'm really into like watching other people garden. I vicariously stay in the dirt through other people, whether it's cannabis content, indoor. I tried to do like outdoor permaculture type content just because of the lack of true vitamin D and sunshine that we have right now. Just vicariously being in somebody else's outdoor garden, it's like therapeutic for me. Gardening for me is therapy. A lot of people gardens are hobbies, but for me, it's very much so therapy. It's very much so a lifestyle. I like to grow my own food and medicines, and it's much different. It's more of a need, right? So I do it also in the wintertime, and I do it through YouTube's such a good source, man. There's so many great content creators, everything from what we're going through here. I'm glad that they're allowing this harm reduction information, or at least, maybe this channel's not big enough to get their flagging support and things like that.
Which is too minute.
As it is now. So that's fine. But either way, we're able to like get this information, these conversations out there, but there's tons of information. You can truly attempt to be as sovereign as possible just through YouTube. I mean, I think that it's a fantastic resource. I mean, aside from like maybe having to source some seeds or learn how to source some other things, I mean, you can learn how to make your own lactobacteria and all kinds of stuff and really just flourish your own.
Everything I've learned in the last
backyard.
decade has been on YouTube. It's a little silly,
much.
but yeah.
It really is.
It's one of the first places I go if I'm trying to learn something. I'll type that shit into either Google or here, or I'll type it into Google and then go to videos to see if there's a video on it because I don't feel like reading a bunch of stupid shit.
You need to fix your car or all
Was
multiple.
that DOG?
Yeah, I think that was definitely DOG.
It's
If
screeching.
you're hearing noises, it's definitely DOG. Like you're making all kinds of noise. I'm gonna smoke some strawberries and cream actually.
I
Uh,
actually just about
fire
to
up a
do
joint.
this.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, never mind.
Fire up a joint.
What do you have as a
But-
joint?
This is rosaberry.
Okay.
So it's high CBD. Hoping it helps.
That's
I have a
all
little bit of a
rosaberry?
headache.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you find that it helps you for a headache?
We'll see.
We'll see.
That rosaberry flower is from like 2020.
We
That's
just
all
brought
right.
it back out.
Has not been trimmed or anything yet. It's still in,
I still have some really old
Long-term
Keweenaw
storage.
copper that I hold on to just in case it's like, I feel like straight shit because it's going to be high CBN and everything else. And always was good for pain.
That's
The old
what I'm
abolished
expecting.
OG, I really don't have any of that left, but I tried to keep that around for a long time. That was a good one for just the medicine. You know what I mean? A lot of times people get caught up in like the names or the flavors of things. And I guess I'm just old school in the sense that I just want it to work. Whatever that may
Absolutely.
happen to be,
This
whether
actually-
it's help me with a migraine or with fibromyalgia, or just maybe I need to, get my appetite together and actually eat some food for once.
That's what I'm hoping for this one. It tastes like a kind of
It's-
berry like.
Yeah, it is it's a bit fibrous and hempy, right? I
Right?
don't know how else to describe it, but it's kind of sharp. in
Sharp.
flavor. Very sharp in flavor.
Just the
I
cool
was
back
just
there.
looking at that. I have a Keweenaw copper times lamb's bread that you gave me, Skilbo. And I was just
Dude.
looking at that the other week. I
Yeah,
want
that's-
to pop it so bad, but I don't. The setup
it.
that I have right now, I would want to wait until I'm a little bit in a bigger setup for that one. That one
Just
deserves
don't veg
a
it.
little bit more
holding-
justice. Yeah.
Scobo, I got a
Um,
question in chat asking how the cigarette situation is going.
So
Justin Staggers is asking.
cheers, Justin. It has been 3 weeks and I have not smoked a cigarette. I have not
Congrats.
hit off a cigarette. I've not had any nicotine. I haven't tried to use a vape. If you guys see me using a
Don't
vape,
smoke a blunt either.
it's because it's a cannabis.
Speaking of,
Cannabis vape,
Yeah.
dude. Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nicotine
Yeah.
free is the only
Nicotine
way to
free.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, there's
Um,
many
you know,
ways to go. if you
it's
can get
kind of
there.
cool. I'm not as winded as I used to be, but the problem that I have, I guess, if you're another old smoker from one old smoker to another, I guess I believe that after I stopped smoking for like a week, everything would just like bounce back to normal and I'd be, tickety boo.
Mhm.
But that's not necessarily the case. It's going to take me, somewhere between, I was reading today, it's going to be like 1 to 9 months before help me out here. What's the name for it? Is it Scylla? Is that what they call that? The little hairs inside of your lungs? Is that the alveoli or some bullshit? I don't know. I remember
know. Yeah.
I'm no good at science or anything.
Someone in chat might.
But
might
it's
have
going
it.
to take a while for that to heal. So, and then there's also the other side of it is I'm still smoking cannabis, like, a lot.
Silly.
But I find that, I'm trying. Thank you, Becca.
Like it
See?
says Cilia.
There we go. I actually sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
You do.
So thanks for the love, everybody. I appreciate it. And if nothing
Cheers,
else,
Daddy Red.
you can do it too.
Absolutely, you can.
It's never too late. I'll tell you the truth. I started smoking when I was 13 years old. I'm 48, so that's 35 years that I smoked. I stopped like once or twice for like a little bit, but that wasn't very long. So
Well, hopefully this is your shot, man. Like,
yeah, I think I shouldn't. I think I'm good.
I mean, I prefer to speak in absolutes on some things. So yeah, congratulations, and this is your shot. You got it, dude. 3 weeks is the habit kicker, man.
Well,
Isn't it 21 days?
Yeah.
It's your habit kicker.
So it's, I'm just trying to get some more mileage out of this old carcass because I'm really having fun doing all these shows, and there's a lot more cool ass people in chat that I honestly want to meet and smoke with. So let's all fucking get together.
Well, you and I actually, I stopped drinking caffeine at around the same time.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the same type of a feat as what you got going.
Don't diminish it, man.
It's a big one for me. Yeah. I mean, for me, it actually has been like no caffeine. I haven't even drank tea. Eventually I'll get back into like a treat and reward myself once a week type thing or something like that. But for right now, it's just really trying to get back into better mental health situation. It's this time of year, man. It's just so rough and just external things going on. Everything's slowed down, and just so get back at it. Spring's literally right.
Have you been making that ginger tea?
Have daily. Yeah, I drink that.
Is that helping you a lot? Like give you like a balance?
It does. And honestly, man, I just sip on hot water. But this here is a
I just
herbal.
Sip on hot water.
I just keep adding hot water to
fucking
it.
warrior shit.
This time of year, yeah. Maybe just add like a little bit of lemon juice, and I'll just keep adding water to the. I'll drink it like halfway down. I'll add water. Drink it halfway down. Add water. So slowly dilutes itself over the day.
Like
this is what is this? Peppermint or spearmint?
Peppermint probiotic.
Peppermint probiotic tea.
What makes it probiotic?
It's got lactobacillus.
It's probably got some lacto in it.
Nice.
Come May, we'll have our own mint, and I'll be going back there and muddling it down for my own.
You're gonna grow mint in a container and hope that it doesn't spread like wildfire.
Dude, it's
already everywhere.
It's too late,
I actually prefer now. I prefer that. Okay, so I'll get into what my my topic of choice for this time of year is permaculture, permanent agriculture. Most things that are permanent typically aren't in pots. Most things that are permanent typically sustain, and you can regenerate with it alongside it, right? Both you and the earth, you and the plants can regenerate. So one of the content, back to the mint rather, part of it is IPM. Part of it is something that's productive.
So the mint is going to keep some kind of possible thing that's going to fuck with your plants out of there.
Yep. And so I grow it in like a 4x8 patch, and I tried to keep it controlled. It's of course creeping into the lawn. It's of course creeping into my strawberries. It's of course creeping everywhere that it's going to. It's
out competing.
But it began as a small patch, that I did get a little bit bigger for this purpose. But it's very nice to see later in the summertime when it does flower, loaded with pollinators, loaded with predatory insects, loaded with it. And by IPM, I mean it will repel. It will repel the bad insects from the garden, the aphids, the mites, and things like that. But it will also attract the good stuff, which is a huge benefit of biodiversity, right? Having that within your. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of outdoor gardens, shout out to Baked Pone because he's already popping his outdoor plants for the outdoor season.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I did see that.
That's one thing is you're talking about wanting to swerve into the permaculture and things. Any of you out there that are planning on trying outdoor for the first time, now would be the time to start thinking about popping.
I don't know if I'd pop seeds for their first time now, though. You're talking.
This is a tree. You're going for a tree right now.
If you're just trying to grow a monster, you can still pop your seeds in June, guys.
Oh yeah.
You'll get 6-7 foot plants if you pop your seeds in June.
You know what I wanted to know? I wanted to do like where I could utilize half of my flower on an auto be outdoor, like start them indoor and then take them outdoor for them to finish, and then start another set outdoor and then have those finish, and then have another set outdoor that finishes.
Yeah, I don't see
You
why
have like
you
a
wouldn't be able to do
staggered auto outdoor.
that. Yeah. I don't think that would be.
Will they get bigger outside? Because those are usually smaller plants, right?
Well, if they
Sometimes.
start flowering inside, they're only going to get so big. But
Yeah, they'll only be so big. I don't know.
And the audios.
I've got those 2020 Mendocino
Audios are
ones
big.
that I'm gonna do from the auto grow off last year.
You gotta get a fast first 30 days out of those things. They veg for what, 30-40 days. You gotta get a fast 30-40 days out of them.
It's crazy to me.
So
Like
if you did that, you would have smaller. You'd have something smaller, going outside.
well, remember how the ones were in the greenhouse that Sequence had that were like in the aisles? I thought that was great because he had the gigantic plants, like the gigantic Death Star that he had in there, or the gigantic sour melon that was in there, but the autos were like the first part of the season, and we're using your real estate,
Those are really nice.
I've been really enjoying it too.
It's real.
The Rosaberry.
It's probably got a lot of CBN in it, I'm sure. The ratio was like almost a 2-to-1 CBD heavy 2-to-1. And I'd imagine that most of that THC, it's only been stored at probably at most 70 degrees. So
See, this one is
the temp hasn't gone up too bad.
this one is Pine Walker, and it says it is 7.3% CBD and 6.2% CBDV, 0.03% Delta 9 THC, 3.1% terps.
The Varen it's different.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh yeah. Okay.
Smoke on a straight THC hog with no CBD. The good old ABOG.
Yeah, man.
Yes, and I'm gonna start shooting for some higher CBD stuff. I think.
I kind of missed that orange sandalwoody flavor that I was getting out of it was a little bit different for me, man. Yours is like you got the funk off it, and I've got like the orange sandalwood thing.
It's wild. It tastes different out of everybody's garden. I don't think it tastes the same at all.
I'm gonna do some more Rosaberry. Rosaberry, if you don't know, is AC/DC. Fuck, I believe it's AC/DC. AC/DC and DJ Short's Blueberry.
We were gonna pop more, weren't we?
That's what I was saying. Well, I haven't said.
I never knew what the other side of the cross was.
Yes.
I knew it was the DJ Short Blueberry, but I didn't know if it was
What
like
happened
Charlotte's
with
Web or one of the other ones.
Yeah, it was AC/DC.
Yeah, I'm gonna grind some of this up now. This
I think
6
AC/DC
and
came
7.
from Charlotte's Web or something like that. I think AC/DC is an old Charlotte's Web, or Ringo. Maybe it might be Ringo's Gift. One of the two. Charlotte's Web is Ringo's Gift, something like that.
Yeah.
I think Dynasty. I think you can still get Ringo's Gift F3 or maybe they're on F4 or something like that through. I think it might be Dynasty Genetics. Don't quote me on that. I think it's Dynasty Genetics.
I make cracks on autos all the time, but honestly, I think I'm just a terrible auto grower myself. But I want to find a strain of autos that I like. I mean, every one that I've grown, they all kind of taste somewhat similar, other than the Mephisto genetic one that I ran. That was probably the best performing, like how fast they finished and just overall taste and looked. I guess it was really cool having that little capsaicin effect on the tongue, the spice from
Peppery.
the Wizard Apprentice. It's not a terp profile that I would keep, but
I
it's
forgot about
something
that.
cool for everybody to smoke at least once.
What was dude? You guys had a CBD one time that I had that was really fucking good that I didn't even think was what the fuck was that? It was
Was it the Babel?
Yes. That's what
it
it was.
was.
It was the battle, dude. I only got to try that the one time, man, but that was a fucking hitter.
I just started running that again. I do have a Babel that'll be coming down. Yeah, it'll be coming around. Actually, be coming down probably next week.
Was another high CBD one?
It's a 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
It's
Cool,
it's
man.
really it's just straight oranges. It's a lot of orange. Like I enjoy it, but it's that much orange gets old really, really quick.
Man.
Yeah,
man. Where we are at, CBD flower will hit. We get asked for it all the time in the shop.
For CBD flower?
CBD flower. We get asked for it all the time. The consumer market's there. It just needs to be tapped into.
Oh, can I ask you a question? This is no. The question is this: do you feel like it is different if it's CBD flower or if it's hemp flower? Do you feel that there's a difference medicine wise?
I do still like to
I
have
think
a little
so.
bit of THC. I'm still looking for the high. I feel like the CBD. I feel like a 1-to-1 almost gets you higher. I think there's a nice synergy.
Well, the nice thing is if you have one of those though, is just take an equal amount of bud of something else. So if you're looking at your thing and your CBD on it's like 16%, all you got to do is find a 16% THC to balance with that, grind both together, and you're still going to get the benefits of that.
Or if
You're
you
just
want a
not paying like
2-to-1,
super fucking
1-to-1.
premium crazy prices for it.
Yep.
Does anybody disagree with that? Because I'm open
not
to
at all.
like
Not at all.
discussion
No,
on it.
not at all.
In
Teach me
theory,
something.
that's exact. I mean, if unless you, well,
I said just the medicinal.
unless
I'm
you
not saying
don't
it's,
like the specific terpene that you're
Yeah,
pulling
but-
your CBD flower from, right?
Okay.
Unless you have a specific reaction to that, I'd say that would be the only reason. You know, if you're somebody who gets depressing thoughts from myrcene, or if myrcene makes you feel a certain way, that's
some
not
kind of
right.
way.
yeah, and that might be in the CBD. I don't know. You know,
I don't
so
know. I've been doing this kind
that
of
might
since I
be like-
started
make a difference.
trying to smoke though, is I started trying to incorporate CBD into it, because that was one trick that I was going to do a couple of years ago. And I was going to do this. I was like, man, I could just buy a bunch of CBD weed. And then every time that I wanted to smoke a cigarette, I could just smoke that instead.
Yeah.
So I've been
Yeah,
trying to use that as like a, because here's the thing, guys, I can't sit and smoke fucking 23% all fucking day long as much as I want to smoke as a replacement, because I'll fucking sleep all the goddamn time. And then I won't get shit done. And, you know,
Are you interested in growing an actual like good CBD strain yourself, Skilbo, or you kind of like what you got going with Happy Bud, just grabbing that?
I think I
Still
would
got
like
any
to
of those
try it.
granddaddies? You got any of those?
Oh, I got those seeds. Yeah.
you got those great babes. What
Yep,
did I give
got
you?
you got
I
the,
give you everything.
I got all three: blueberry, GDP, and the grape ape. My
Did
plan
you
was
keep
to
any of
try to
those
run.
seeds from that Kush I gave you?
You know what? I fucking think I do, dude. Was that sour?
Sour Kush. It
Hold on.
was.
Let's see if I can
Yep.
find that.
It was.
Right.
It was a seed that I grew from a strawberry sour Kush that threw seeds that are female now. And those seeds are pretty old, but I tossed one in my backyard in 2020. Yeah, 2020. The year I pollinated everything else. And it has the Otto pollen. Same pollen as the granddaddy and the blueberry. Everything else I got back there. So
Do you guys find you have like an actual demand for CBD at the stores, or even from like
Yeah.
your
Oh,
patients?
yeah.
Your patients pretty high.
patience, not so much. Yeah, I just don't know if they've been tapped into it yet. You know, I did the roasted berry for a while for some people, and I had some people that came back for it often, and the majority of the people were like, "Yeah, it's not strong enough" or whatever. So, which is fine. You know, there is.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell that it's a. I don't want to say the word duller. It's a different experience. It doesn't have like the, you know, head rush, anxiousness, you know, thing that like THC gives. So you can kind of like, but you know, you can only take that so much, man, you know, before it's not the best for you mentally, physically, however.
Some of my
good for
patients, I
pain.
think we could probably try.
Red.
Yeah, totally.
Red.
Oh, you do. Sour Kush CBD. Yes, that'd be OTTO. Nice, dude. Look at that. Bag
Oh man, I hope it tastes
Dude.
like sour. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a lot of little bits.
If you told somebody that bag was from 2020, they would laugh and be like, "That looks like
Hey,
it teleported
can
through
I-
time."
can I
at
make a
least 20
joke?
Years.
I'm gonna make a real joke. This looks like some 1987 weed for your buddy Skilbo. This is what I was
Right.
in
Yes, dude.
Is
1987.
that how it
Look
would
at
come
that.
to? Like
Oh
that?
yeah, for sure.
All-
For
all
sure.
shake,
No
all
buds.
shake and seeds,
No buds.
no
No.
buds.
Some more sticks though. You got to put sticks in there.
A lot more stemmage.
I was really
man.
spoiled growing up in Ann Arbor.
Thank
Well,
you.
it's just completely different than
Auto.
it used to be. man.
OTTO. Auto.
I can't believe I still have those, man. I had to just dig a little bit more.
Auto is. I'm sorry. I
Green
I
room.
gotta quit saying green room. It's green room, but it's basically Otto. It's Otto.
The name of
times
the
Otto.
strain is OTTO, as in like Otto the bus driver is what you want to think of. Remember from The Simpsons, Otto?
Yes,
That's
and
just
I
always
also
think of the
think
stupid stoner bus driver. That's the name of the seats.
What was that show? It was a Nickelodeon show where they
Can't do that on television.
they were on skateboards and shit. There was like they lived in Hawaii or some shit like that. It was a cartoon. It was one of the cartoons, Nickelodeon cartoon. His name was Otto, and somebody out there knows.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name. That was
I can't think of
popular
the
when
name
like
of
my
the show. They're all a
sister
bunch
was
of
a
surf
kid.
Did you see
rats.
what Daddy Red said? Daddy Red said it looks like what he got in
He got in
72.
72.
Shout out Daddy Red.
See, look at that. There's the synchronicity right there. 72. Europe 72 is a great album. So,
Dude, I was listening to Europe
get
72
into
earlier
this.
today.
we're gonna have to get into this, I suppose, guys. So I'm watching my newest favorite vlogger right now is the Weedy Garden vlogger. If anybody is following the Weedy Garden, or if you're not following the Weedy Garden and you're into permaculture, into gardening and shit like that, check him out, man. He's south of the equator. He's from Australia, from northern Australia, more tropical zone. And he's got some really cool footage. He's got some really cool videos. He's a nature photographer turned vlogist as of the last year, turned permaculturist, finding the necessity to sustain and things like that, right? Just very similar mindset to what a lot of us have. So I'm watching some of his videos, and he's kind of talking in the realm of synchronicity in a little bit. He's telling this story, and I'm gonna terribly dictate his story. He does such a better job of.
Now, where are
his
you catching
accent.
this? Is this on
This is on
podcast?
YouTube.
This is a
YouTube, okay.
YouTube. He's a vlogger, he's a content creator. So the Weedy Garden is his I think that's just what it's called, the Weedy Garden.
Mhm.
So anyways,
Share a
gets
link
a
to
lot-
it in the
he-
chat. Share.
he's
Becca.
telling this story about how he's just on YouTube up one morning, doing his normal routine, similar to what I do. I'd make some coffees, roll up a joint, and I'll watch some YouTube, right? Watch some videos and shit. And so he's doing his thing, and he pulls up this guy, Jeff something. Jeff Lawton. Thank you very much, because I want to shout out his channel as well, another permaculturalist. Jeff Lawton. 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 Jeff Lawton. GEOFF. Jeff Lawton.
Ooh, the British spelling.
So he finds very much British.
Whenever I see a GEOFF, I always want to mispronounce it.
I do too. I
Geoff?
always want to
I
misrecall
was saying
Geoff.
that
Hello,
all day. I was
Geoff.
like, no,
Yep.
it's Jeff.
Always want to.
Joffrey.
So he catches a video or two of this guy, and he's into it. He's like, oh man, this dude's cool. I want to meet this guy one day. And I have these thoughts all the time, right? And we'll get into this. Right? We'll get into our own personal stories. So anyway, he's talking about it, and one day he phone rings, whatever. He gets off the topic, he loses it. Days go by, whatever happens. One day he's out riding around trying to get, find a place for supplies or something like that for his garden. He makes a wrong turn somewhere, and he goes to turn around, and he ends up pulling into like a garden center. And he pulls in this garden center, and sure enough, it's a permaculture research center, something like that, and ran by Jeff Lawton. Boom, right? So he's like, holy shit, all this. So he took the time and stopped for the moment and went and met him. Come to find out that it basically changed his entire world, just making that one stop, meeting Jeff Lawton, eventually becoming friends.
It goes. That's how it goes in life, man. Is you can make the best plans in life, man, and it'll be that one random ass thing, or that one random time that you went to the store and you met somebody that you never seen before, or friend of a friend, you went to a get together, or hey, maybe the next time there's a big community thing for cannabis, you come out and you end up meeting your future connection, or your future fucking partner, or your future 100%. Life partner, or you know what I mean? Like,
dude,
serendipitous.
And that was, yes. And it was,
and we're
very
back on topic.
cool.
That's our whole point of the show.
Very cool to see from somebody else's perspective, because I have so many. I had a friend. I have a friend. Okay, he's no longer with us, but my friend I grew up with. He was a cousin of my next door neighbor. Okay. And I would see him maybe once a month. He'd come over and he'd like babysit, or he'd come over and like the families would get together and I'd go next door and I'd hang out and play with these guys. Right. One brother was slightly younger than me. Two brothers were slightly older than me. One of the brothers, Joel, was maybe like a year or two older than me, you know, and so like I got to see, you know, what was going on a couple years ahead of me, right? You know, he was ever so slightly advanced as far as that goes, you know, so it was like you look up to him, right? I never lived with my older brothers. Okay. So whenever somebody would like come around that was a little bit older than me, I always was like, oh, you know, so it was fun to like play with the dude, and like we had a great like childhood. So like getting older, I see him few and far between. Graduation parties, a couple family get-togethers, things like that. I might see him a couple family outings. You know, they came and like spent a week at our cottage, and we vice versa the same. You know, things like that. One day, I hadn't seen the dude in almost a decade. Let's just say I'm in my mid-20s now. I'm downtown Detroit at a well, if anybody ever remembers Funk Night. I'm at a Funk Night party before Funk Night got big. I'm at the Russell Industrial Center. I'm in a maybe 1,000 square foot loft room that's got a little party going on, old Funk Night style. I run into Joel there and his younger brother, man. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You know, I haven't seen you in fucking years and years and years and years and years, you know? 2 months later, he died in a snowmobile accident. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, man, that was the universe connecting us like one last time. It was super wild to think about. But it was
that's the thing, Red, is you've got to treat every time that you have a separation from, you know, a friend or a family member or anything else, whatever it may be. It could be the very last time.
Yeah. And
I think that's a good time for all of us to remember that, you know, hey, you only get so many times around on this thing. And it's really important to, if somebody's important to you, let them know that shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's nothing to you. It's a couple of words, but it can make all the difference to somebody else at the outside chance that you're the one that passes.
No, absolutely. And I wear this shirt tonight. Very similar scenario happened. I'm in Chicago a couple years ago, man, a few years ago now. 2016.
It's like your adopted city. You've been there so many times for
it's like 2016 or something. Yeah, no kidding. You know, it's our twin city to Detroit. You know, it's a nice 4-hour trip if you live anywhere off of 94, close to, you know.
Doesn't Chicago have like 20 times as many people as Detroit now?
Probably, dude. It's massive city, very busy city. Twice as busy as Detroit, easily.
Or like more. It's
way
like one
more.
of the biggest cities.
Yeah, it's probably like I think, what is it? Is it the third or the fourth biggest city in the United States?
Probably.
I think it would be like New York, LA, Dallas, Chicago, then probably Atlanta, maybe Miami, something like that.
DP knows if he's still in chat.
It would be, I'm going to say Chicago is definitely top 5 for population in the U.S.
I mean, you need to basically park outside of the city and take the train and get around.
Where are you going to fucking park at, you know?
Yeah, like a Walmart or something.
So
I'm in Chicago. Baby. I'm in Chicago at a Bob Weir concert. And set break comes around. I go outside to smoke a couple doobies and come back inside. I see my friend Matt. I haven't seen Matt a couple years, right? Another old deadhead, you know. Matt ran a DJ supply shop, bought my DJ speakers from the dude, you know what I mean? Like, he hooked me up with tons of information, helped me get off ground. He was a big name DJ in Detroit. Some of you may know Matt Det, Matic Det, Matic Detroit, whatever. He would run little gray house parties, little gray shack parties and stuff like that, dude. Just super, super fun dude, man. Super enlightened dude. He was a fantastic horticulturalist. He was into mycology. He was
Hey, friend
into
of the
the
show.
Tao. Oh, dude,
What
like
up, though?
he was a hell of a dude, man. A hell of a dude, a hell of a smart dude. He taught if anybody sees what's going on right now. Okay.
What'd you drop? Spill?
I just tripped over a cord and I just got beamed in the dome with
The light?
LED light. Yeah, the light just
Bing.
I didn't see it,
face
but I'm
there.
going back and clipping that.
You guys didn't see
Hey,
it? Oh, it was
wait.
on me for like a minute.
Check.
I didn't even budge.
Chat.
I had to.
Love you, chat. Thank you. I told you this shit was third.
I got Chad over here on the other screen now. I
Say
was looking at
Chicago's
that when I
number
had my-
3.
Mhm.
You got
There's Matt's who you got GDP from.
Matt is who I got. So I got GDP through a friend.
This is how it comes around.
through
Okay.
Matt. So Matt is the original propagator of the flow, of the flow and the GDP. He's the reason that I'm so obsessed with East Coast sour diesel. Let me redirect this microphone. Hello. Checking.
Red leather,
Back
yellow
side,
leather.
front side. There we go. All right. He's the reason that I have such a fascination with ECSD. He's the reason I have such a fascination with why I use Jacks in the first place.
Anthocyanthins?
Dude, he when I first met him, I didn't really know him. He was one of those dudes that kept his secrets to himself. So I was like, hey, dude, what makes your weed different than everybody else's? I can't fucking figure it out. It's not organic. I don't taste anything.
He told you it was the Jacks?
It tastes like real weed, man. It's fluffy. It's huge buds. What are you doing? It's not burning weird. He didn't tell me it was Jacks. He told me to go use Flora. Dude, just run 2 bottles of Flora, man. Blam, bam, and get good results. I got good results. It just wasn't the same. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I ended up getting some of his seeded out bud. I tried growing some bag seed. It wasn't working. Our homie, our mutual from my best friend, growing up, he ends up, he's the reason that he ended up handing me down the flow and the granddaddy through him. Even better friends to Matt, right? Much better friends. Matt basically taught him how to grow Jacks, and he was kind of helping be one of their brokers and stuff like that. And then he came to me and was like, look, this is how you grow, this is how you do the stuff. So through the chain of command, it came down. I basically run my garden based off of Matt's SOP. Which came to me not directly through Matt, but through my friend, who's basically Matt was his he was Matt's apprentice, right? So
you're in Chicago.
So I'm in Chicago after set break, and I run into him. What's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? We catch up for a minute. Talk about the show. I end up seeing him one more time, in around Christmas time, prior to his passing away. But it was one of those scenarios, that we were both, he was in town and he invited me out to a couple of parties, and I totally should have got out and went. I was in Chicago, I was out of my element. I never did. It's one of those things that, damn, I'm kind of missed the boat on that one. So like you're saying, Skilbo, it's almost like take good opportunities, and I don't regret not going. I
think I said in the pre-show.
shirt.
Wasn't it Fortune Favors the Bold? Did I say that in the show
or
pre-show?
Yep, you said Fortune favors the bold. Exactly.
Exactly.
Who knows?
So when the opportunity presents
we got
itself,
into.
man, you got to you got to jump on that shit.
Yep. I wear their shirt often, and I always think of Matt whenever I do. It was one of the last times that I saw him. Whether or not that's serendipitous or synchronicity, it's always part of the what I find in like this. The vibration of energy that surrounds the Grateful Dead community, whether or not it has anything to do with some psychic extra perceptional force that brings everybody together. So the reason that I say that the book from last week, Grateful Dead Annotated Right, should have been the book from this week, goes back to a serendipitous moment. I became a deadhead long after I even got that book. I wasn't even a deadhead when I got that book. I didn't even know I was a deadhead when I got that book. I was into the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and a bunch of other stuff.
Does anybody want to know what Red was listening to pre Grateful
I had
Dead?
no idea who the Grateful Dead even was. I was listening to all
Panther?
the music of the same era.
So
Was it?
weird, man.
All the music from the same era. I was listening to. I was way into the Beatles. I was big into the Beatles. I got
The
tons of Beatles
Beatles were your
memorabilia
shit,
and
right?
I was doing book reports on them in high school and things like that.
So
This
how'd
is
you get into
long-
the Beatles? Was it Daddy Red?
No, dude, one of my friends in 10th grade, before 10th grade, I really thought the Beatles were kind of square. I was like, dude, this loves you. Yeah, it's really poppy.
So
It's just
early
pop
stage
rock. I'm
Beatles,
not
yeah.
into it. Yeah, I wasn't into anything pop at the time, really. And they except I like Jimi Hendrix and all right, you know. So a friend of mine, this, you know, one of the dudes that wore like plaid pants, and you know, he was very much a very artistic dude. He didn't follow social norms or anything like that. And he's listening to Sergeant Pepper, and he lets me borrow a copy of Sergeant Pepper, and that's what did it for me. It was Sergeant Pepper, dude. I took Sergeant Pepper home.
Which song specifically was your jam on that one?
The
Was
whole
it Lucy?
fucking album, dude. No,
when I'm 63.
When I'm 64, no.
You know which one I like?
There was one
fucking
that had
fixing
been
a hole.
covered.
Fixing a hole, dude.
I love that song, to be honest.
You listen to the words on fixing a hole. Yeah.
There's a
She's
song
leaving
on
home.
there.
I think She's Leaving Home is on that one too, right? Or is that on Revolver?
I've been listening to Dead for so long, dude. You have the chronological name right.
I get
so much better than I do.
Yeah, man. I have this weird fucking like memory thing, man.
That's good.
It comes in handy. It's a nice parlor trick. It's a good conversation starter. What about
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds isn't on that album either, is it? That's a magical.
What's
on that?
band,
what's
Abolish?
on that song that would have been? What's
Which
on
one?
that album that I would
Which one?
have on?
Sergeant Pepper?
Yeah, and Sergeant Pepper.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
That is on that. So maybe it was. Lucy
Yeah. Wait a minute. Mr. Kite, for the benefit of Mr. Kite. Yeah, that's
I dug all that. I dug all that when I got into it, but there was, it's
When I'm 64 is on there.
Billy Shears. The second song track that Joe Cocker covers. Fuck.
Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong. Sorry, somebody out there.
Joe Cocker covered so many songs.
It's
like the second song. It's the second song on the album.
Get by with a little help from my friends.
Get by with a little help from my friends. Yes. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yes. That song is what got me into. Yeah. So I'd say that song, listening to that, and I was like, oh, Joe Cocker does this song. Yeah. I got because
you
was really into the fucking Wonder Years. Yes.
I was just gonna say it's the Wonder Years.
Oh, I fucking really love that show.
I know you're all into the Wonder Years.
What
dude.
it is.
Yes,
Loved
100%. Fred Savage was a savage in that movie. Fucking awesome. Or movie in that show that just never ended. It was always on Nickelodeon's Nick at Night or something like that. Fucking loved that show, dude. And yes, actually, man, I went back and I caught that on like Netflix or something, maybe about 10 years ago. Maybe about 5 years ago. I went back and I started watching that. They play a lot of Beatles music in that show, actually. A lot of Beatles music. The first episode has quite a bit of Beatles songs on it. It was like, whoa, just say, is this makes you think, is this serendipitous? What should you think about? So anyways, my brother at the time, my brother at the time that I was into the Beatles, so high school age, before high school, God, man. Yeah. 10th grade. What am I saying? No, high school age. So like 10th grade. Yeah. However old I'm in there. My brother at the time, before I was actually into the Beatles. No, dude, I was only like,
to be like 2000, right? So like
year
2000.
I was like 12 or 13. Yeah. Let me think here. Like 98. I don't even know whatever year that fucking book was made. She worked at Barnes and Noble. Okay. She worked at Barnes and Noble. So I'd always get these random like book gifts or just stuff that like Barnes and Noble had. And one year she gives this to me, and it was like the same year they kind of broke up, and they were together for like 8 years or something like that. You know what I mean? She was like my sister-in-law basically forever. My brother is way older than me. So again, older figures that I would look up to. And she handed me this. She's like, I don't even know if you're into the Grateful Dead, but you might be. And then she like gave me this book, and like the way she presented it to me was really weird. And I never knew if she was a deadhead or not. I don't know if she's I don't even know if she was into smoking weed. My brother's not into smoking weed at all. He's not into drugs, drug culture, anything like that. I was kind of thinking, was she into drug culture? And I don't know enough about her to understand. She never told me whether or not she was, but she laid this book on me. She laid this masterpiece of a book on me. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until, God, man, maybe the last.
And you kept it.
And the thing is, I kept it. Yeah, I kept it around. This wasn't just another book that ended up getting lost or sold or something like that, or, given away to a friend. I kept this one around. And a few years ago, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, I have this fucking book. And I looked for it and I couldn't find it. All right. I couldn't find it. I was going to take it to in 2016, I was going to take it to the Dead show just in case, you know what I mean? Maybe there's a chance I'll, run into Bobby or something. I'll be able to get it autographed. But by the time 2016 came around, I was already pretty much into being a Deadhead. I was listening to Grateful Dead by then for 4 or 5 years. But for a good chunk of 10 years, I had no idea they were even in my existence and the reason I talk about it is because I built a lot of community around that community. Again, like I talked about, the last time I saw Matt was at a Bob Weir show, which is basically a Dead show. Had such a great time with you guys, Sequence and Skilbo back at the Dead show. All the Dead shows I've ever been to. Whenever you go to jam festivals or anything, dude, it's the music. Yeah. Get it going for you there. I'm over here bogarting the joint. So anyways,
It's okay.
I have a feeling that there's some sort of a social energy that surrounds this the band. I don't even want to call them a band. I almost want to just call them a community. It's really what it is. It's like the Grateful Dead community in a sense. And so,
Red, you know what I would say about it? Check it out. So you know how people fucking if anybody came out and met us at Luzerne or any of these other events that we've had, if you've met us, if you've met Eagle, if you've met some of the guys from Medical Mondays, it doesn't matter really which show it is. But once you tap into this YouTube online cannabis community, the similarities between it and what you would consider the Dead Lot experience and the people is very, very similar.
Very much a crossover.
Yes.
Very much a crossover. A lot of friendly folk, just seeking individuality, seeking personal sovereignty, things like that, just wanting to sustain, wanting to get through this life sustainably. A lot of call them hippies or whatever, right? We see a lot of dirty hippies at these events. We see a lot of other profiteers and stuff like that exists, right? That exists everywhere. You can see that on Dead Lot as well, right? It's everywhere. So there's a balance. There's this balance in all of the community. But speaking of that community, man, another serendipitous events, moments, things like that.
Kingfisher does clarify for us. He says the Grateful Dead community is also the jam band community on the whole. You are right, Kingfisher.
100%.
DP says he can't wait to go rafting. Yeah, man, we will be doing the what is it called? The Cascades, Argo Cascades, and that'll be right around end of June and first part of July.
That's when I met you guys all. Oh, I guess
it's the birthday float. Yeah,
we should make it a weekend float and do the whole.
We really
fucking river.
I really wanted to see us do. Yeah, the whole thing, because you can start way up that river where that's the Argo Cascades is the end.
Even if we just go into Dexter, dude, we'll just add another 2 hours or 4 hours to it,
Dexter. What?
Yeah, it starts up.
You can keep floating all the way down there too.
No,
you start up there.
Start up there. You start up there, you end in Ann Arbor. You keep going, you're gonna end up in Ford Lake.
So where that one crazy parking lot that I dropped in at.
There's some really gnarly Argo yucca.
So
yucca and all kinds.
We start off at the Cascades, and we ended at
Argo Park.
There we go.
Yeah, it's like a mile away from each other.
You can start all the way up at Delhi and Dexter or whatever it is.
If you start at Delhi and Dexter, you get another 2 hours or so probably tacked onto your float.
More time.
I really like
Better.
those outdoor type events. We really need to do more of that this year. Stuff like that, not just cannabis, selling events or cups.
Yeah, things that aren't like work, because those things.
Yeah.
Things that aren't work.
We have.
Is
to
it? It really is. I mean, we're videotaping, we're vending, like we're making sure everything stays clean. Like it's
I know.
a lot of
feel
work
like I
over there.
never
We
get
do
to
have a good
talk.
time though.
I feel like I never get to talk to all you guys.
I like that.
But
No, you're
for
too
Cap
busy
420
holding up on
says-
the beautiful
Says he sells
fucking
wrinkles as creases to the straight people. That's great. That's funny. Go ahead,
You
Skilbo. What were you
guys,
saying?
I said you guys are always spending so much time. Yeah, hashtag. Let me hit that bell for you guys. There you go. Is Becca's always so busy and making sure that everything is dressed and looks right and the handwriting is good. And
So is he. Come on. We both are.
I have seen Red set up prior to you and after you, and I'm telling you, you've had a positive influence on the layout.
It has
so.
evolved.
It has evolved. It really has.
Evolved.
I like it because it's almost like that was what spurred you to then you stepped up your packaging game. Your packaging game was always good, but you stepped it up another level. And then you worked on your presentation and your logo and your, what are we going to call it?
That.
Your brand, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Call it at least working on a brand, I suppose. It's a work in progress. It's a lifelong work in progress, I'd say. Definitely. Just little steps every year. If I were to stuff moves so slow that you're often like, damn, am I making any progress at all? You're questioning your progress sometimes. But if you look back a year or 2 years or 3 years, it's usually progress. There's usually some sort of a change that's occurred. You're always in a different place. You're always in a different setting.
Progress is there's always progress. There can just also be atrophy at the same time. So while you're progressing in one area, you can be atrophying in another.
I like to try
Right.
to use these laws of attraction if I can. And, you have to be careful sometimes because you can, like if you're wanting to go in one direction, it may take you through the, over the river and through the woods to get there.
To grandmother's house we go.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
bridge
man.
over the river might be broken and the woods might be full of wolves and bears. You know what I mean?
Put those
And
There's
tigers
cakes and pies at grandma's.
yeah, but
going
eventually you
for it.
make it to grandma's,
Gonna
and
make
there's
some
cakes and
grandma's Kool-Aid.
pies. Exactly, dude. Yeah, exactly. It smells good.
Now I want cake and pie.
Now we want cake
Why
and
can't we have
pie.
both? Why can't we have pie topped cake?
Exactly.
I always like to
Huh?
think that the struggle's worth whatever's at the end of it, Sometimes there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's another train coming at you head on. And sometimes it's just a hologram. Just fucking never really does exist. But I like to try to take moments, I suppose if we considered every moment that we kind of like come across strangers or we come across each other and
Strangers meeting strangers.
strangers meeting strangers as being serendipitous, as saying yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's do the
I just say
ultimate
yes
serendipity.
more often.
The ultimate serendipity is Red coming up and talking to basically the crew at the Clio event.
Say your
birthday
quote
bash.
again. What's your quote again?
What quote?
The one from before the
Indubitably?
show. No, the one from before the show.
Oh, what I found was most serendipitous?
No, the damn it.
Fortune favors the bold.
Yes, yeah, the fortune favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So think about that. Red, who is a self-avowed someone who deals with some, like social anxiety issues. He doesn't like big crowded places and isn't one to walk up and meet people. So here's this humongous cannabis event. And Red recognized it. Who'd you recognize? Was it Old Man?
No, I knew you guys were gonna be there.
Okay.
So I came because of that.
Stalking you.
Oh, I was stalking.
Hey.
I didn't just go. I knew where the party was going to be at, so I showed up to it.
Well, maybe it wasn't as serendipitous. Maybe it was just a fortune favors the bold. Then we'll use
I'll
that
tell you
side
what.
of
I'll
the
tell you what
coin.
serendipitous.
Flip it around, man.
It was the fortune favors the bold. I'll tell
Okay.
you what's serendipitous about it, though.
Is meeting Old Man.
Is not just meeting. Well, Dude, the
And
entire
at,
old
at
man.
the DJ Short thing.
Yeah, but let's back up, dude.
We
Let's
can take
back
that all the way
up.
back to your dude with the DJ Short flow.
Let's take this all the way back to like
Purple Bigs.
We're gonna do the Waynesboro
no,
thing.
well, I mean, dude, we could take it back to
Exactly.
being handed the Grateful Dead handbook. Okay, we could take it
Okay.
back to then, but I'm not going to. I'm only going to take it back to about as far as, let's say, Grow Tube Roundtable. Let's take it back to like Grow Tube Roundtable.
So for Growly.
All right, we'll take it back to Frogroli. We'll take it back to NV Closet Grower. We'll take it back to Med Grower 1. We'll take it back to Doggo.
Deja before he was Doggo.
Pedro. Yeah, Deja.
Subcool, Pedro, Brown Guy 420. Many of these people that I've mentioned.
Grow Mouse.
We
One of
have
the Plants
had,
Go Grow fam.
and many of these
Vader
people
OG.
that I mentioned, we have had
Yeah.
on the live show, dude. I've actually gotten to sit panel style with these people.
Yeah.
Now, did I look up to these people that were on Grow Tube Rounds? Damn straight I did, dude. I learned I took a lot of their advice, man. I thought it was a really cool show. I thought that I knew a lot about cannabis, and I was like, man, I'd love to like get in and talk to these guys on this show. I'd love to like, or do this. And like, I've always wanted to like do movies or be a content creator. And that stuff just was always outside of my realm of like what I thought career goals could have been. When I was younger, for me, careers were like the stuff that they taught you in school, which for me, unfortunately, wasn't videography or anything creative. I did all of like the basic stuff. I thought that careers were going and like working in the automotive industry or being an engineer or things like that. I didn't understand that you could be a photographer, travel the world and make books, sell them to people. And nowadays we have the internet, which makes stuff so much easier, right? And now we have these social platforms where we can create Patreons and do all kinds of different streams of revenue. And people like to donate time, money, and things like that to help the production of this. Like when we're creating, we're also crowdsourcing, and movie directors don't have to do a lot of crowdsourcing. They have immediate investors that are already willing to do it. But for us, we're basically doing a lot of crowdsourcing very independently. And it's like this free source of information type. There's just a lot of bullshit information. There's good information. You have to do your own filtering, right? You have to take, you can be one that just like only watches like flat earth videos. You can be one that only watches scientific videos or whatever. And nowadays you can't even find flat earth
giants,
restrictions and censorships, but like
it's all about giants, right?
Yeah, exactly. So but there's good information. There's objective information on YouTube, like how to fix your car, because you can actually see somebody do it, and you can objectively discern, false from truth in that regard. Like, did it work? Did it get fixed? Did they just use duct tape to repair a patch? You can then take that information and cross-reference it from multiple sources on the internet if you want to. You know what I mean? We have lots of advantages in that respect nowadays. But the online community, being able to do this, like, I don't even know where I was going with this, to be honest.
You're talking about
Serendipity.
Roundtable.
Oh, I was talking about the Grow Tube Roundtable and just like all of like evaluating all of the information that content creators put out there. And then, then at one time they were sponsored by High Times and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, and then it just kind of disappeared. But now here, going through this whole thing, here we are.
Dude, we carried the torch forward in our own interpretation on what they're doing, and their show is an interpretation basically on Hash Church.
100, yeah, and
you know what I mean. So there's always
you're
standing on the shoulders of the giants that have preceded you for this kind of thing.
And then when I think about it, when I start to really think, it's almost like, wow, now we're almost within like 1 to 2 degrees of we're within 1 to 2 degrees of like people like, I really look up to like actors like Tommy Chong. The dude's been in it for years and years and years.
Red.
You know what I mean? What's that?
We're talking about Tommy Chong.
Up in Smoke?
What's the Tommy Chong thing every time?
There's
thank you. There's a picture.
What do you say?
He said there's a necklace.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. I got a chance to actually give Tommy Chong a piece of art, and he wore it, and there's a photograph, publication of him wearing my art, and all that stuff, dude. I was up all night. I didn't go to sleep. I made sure I stayed up on, well, there was some reasons I was up all night, but I was up all night long. we call it microdosed or something, but like it was having a good old time. And Tommy was coming to town next day. It was hash bash. Tommy was coming for hash bash, and I dove down. I got to the
Do you think there's going to be a hash bash this year? That would
early.
be like what, 2 months away at this point?
Hash bash is going to be April 2nd.
Yeah, I think so.
That is
Okay.
hash bash and hash bash cup, two separate things.
Yes, they are two separate things. They
Can you
are the
explain
same
those?
weekend. I will.
Hash bash is on April 2nd.
The cup is the same weekend of hash bash. The cup resides at the Wyndham Hotel, which is a little ways over. And that is more of like a social event that includes vendors, and you can't really have vendors and stuff like, but that's an adult use type of a thing in its own party outside of the hash bash itself. I have seen vendors at hash bash. I've seen people vending seeds, actual like booths set up, not cannabis related products outside of like seeds. I've really seen. You always see dudes like, you know, bags of joints and stuff.
Yeah, but it's
like
not
that.
like when you go to, like we were talking about, a High Times cup. High Times cup is you just smell weed
That's
all the
a
time because everybody's
little
just
bit.
selling
That's a little
flour
bit
and
more like what's
concentrates.
going on at the Wyndham Hotel.
At
Like
the
the
cup.
Wyndham,
Okay.
the Wyndham Hotel, the cup is a little bit more. Now they're going to judge cannabis. They're going to have some vendors and that whole thing. Whether or not that is medical only or I'm not sure. At one time it was medical only. Might be adult use. You might want to get with the hash bash cup on that one, or Mr. Hash Bash on that one. But I'm pretty sure it's adult use. I'm pretty sure anybody 21 and over can go into that.
Ooh, they have the Hampton Inn suites right next door to it too now.
Oh, okay.
What's the cost
Bigger.
on those? What's the
Yeah.
cost?
Oh man. I'll
Ridiculous
keep you
on that
updated.
weekend.
Keep us updated. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure
She
if
doesn't
you're
want
a
to tell me because she's trying to book
vendor-
one first.
I'm pretty sure if you're a vendor that the rooms probably
$50.
come.
That's it?
Hampton-
Oh, that's
Hampton
it. Let's go.
That's
But think,
that's
man,
fucking super cheap.
you're a shuttle ride from down. I don't want to take the focus off of the actual Monroe Street Fair because that's the hash bash is Monroe Street Fair. Those are two.
Red,
the same
when
thing.
we did the Entheo Fest, where was that at? That was just on the campus,
Entheo
right?
Fest
That was in the
that was at the
Diag.
Diag. That
Same
was
place.
that's those same steps right there. That's exactly where Tommy Chong spoke
There we
a
go.
couple years ago. That's the exact same spot where we watched all those speakers at Entheo Fest.
Yeah,
That's at high noon where you want to be.
Good luck finding a
whole
parking
area
spot.
of-
Jesus fucking Christ, it
You're
was
not
hard
gonna
that
be
day,
able to
man.
park
Woo.
down there, dude. No, you got to park off campus. You got to
Oof.
park down the
Yeah.
block. You
You
got
gotta
to
park in the neighborhoods, man.
Yeah,
Like-
there's
like
many
12
parking
blocks
garages.
away and shit. Yeah.
You might want to get closer to Monroe Street. If you look at a map, Monroe Street's a few blocks away from the Diag, but that's where
far.
they'll shut down Monroe Street for a full block. And that is where you'll have vendors, they'll have bands playing. That's the party. That's the Monroe Street Fair. What ends up happening is, I believe from 10 a.m., they begin the march on Monroe Street. You gather, you march on Monroe Street in your silent protest, silently, peacefully protest, walking, marching to the Diag. You take a 2-hour march to the Diag. It doesn't take 2 hours to get there, but a group of 1,000 people, it takes a long time. You get to the Diag and you gather again. You gather in the Diag, and at high noon, we celebrate and we protest peacefully. And we protest our sovereignty, or at least wanting it, you know? We protest for all the prisoners. We protest for everybody who's just lost value and lost so much, man. You know what I mean? It all started with John Sinclair, 10 for 2. The dude had 2 joints, man. Some people are in there for 10 years for a roach. Some people are doing life sentences, multiples for a couple of hits of LSD. Some people are doing it's time that, you know, we're all peacefully marching for all of these people, you know, and nowadays it's not just for cannabis, you know, it's for all kinds of things. But originally it started with John Sinclair, but it's not just about John Sinclair. Originally, it was about the other thousands of people that were always incarcerated for just small amounts of chemicals that, you know, no different. In fact, far more safer than things that are already legal that we acquire on the shelves. It all just has to do with politically divided molecules. You know, it's stupid. It really makes no sense. that people are locked up in cages because
There's a trend
politics
to-
can't get their shit
yeah.
together.
legislate fucking consciousness and the illegality of making money off of it. You know what I mean?
Yes. So we protest that, and then we party and then we celebrate. There's a lot of speeches at noon. Usually it's presented through the Students Sensible Drug Policy. There might be some speeches, especially what's going on now. Actually, we should talk about that, being that probably should have let off the show, but we got off on the other foot. Michigan,
Off on the other foot.
Michigan's up for having a proposal
Statewide, baby.
statewide decriminalize entheogens. Right now, they're just talking about psychedelic mushrooms, but I have a feeling it's going to be more plant entheogens. Hopefully, they include ibogaine and some of these other ones. Ketamine, MDMA. MDMA we probably won't see right off the rip, but we might see at least
no, but those
psilocybin,
the ones that you could
psilocybin, maybe
grow your
DMT.
own, I
Yes.
think would be a non-issue.
Yep. It has to go. It has to go up for signature. We need 350,000 signatures. So we're going to start seeing signatures going around for these ones. And over the next couple of weeks, I think that the show should focus on not only the benefits, but these benefits, but we can also talk about the negative. We should also talk about the negative stuff so that people can make their own decisions, their own informed decisions on whether or not the benefits outweigh the disadvantages to these things, because I really think that they do. I think that the benefits far outweigh. I think that the legalization of everything. I mean, God, I don't think substances should be politically I don't think people should be going into boxes for drugs and shit like that. I just don't. I think that's a completely different issue that somebody else needs to handle. Not the prison system. So that's my personal opinion on that. But I really think that as far as Michigan goes, it will drastically help our mental health system. It will drastically increase everything, like just the massive amount of people that need help with addiction services and things like that. I really think that there could be some huge benefits for this. And dude, I'm actually seeing positive reports on news platforms, even such as Fox News and the ones that are typically a lot more conservative leaning. So this is a very much bipartisan topic. This is not a liberal topic anymore.
People are starting to see how it is actually helping people.
Yeah. People are actually seeing their family members helped and seeing that, happiness. But when you see the loss of happiness in somebody, if you're an empath, it hurts you, and then when you see it come back to somebody and you're like, oh, drugs did that. Wow, maybe they're not so bad. It's a matter of misunderstanding all this shit. We talk about this all the time, but the effects are misunderstood. I think having the lack of education, the lack of knowledge makes us lack the knowledge on proper dosing. And all that we're doing when we're tripping or we're getting too high on cannabis and shit, we're overdosing, man. We're all overdosing constantly. We need to just lower our doses and moderately consume, and we'll be just fine. You can't change the world like that, but that's the same issue that we have with alcohol. And we're all adult enough to make those decisions on alcohol. In fact, with alcohol, the safety threshold is so much finer. It's so much easier to make
you bring up a really good point, Red, because
decision.
Here's what I think. I believe that you are the master of your own consciousness and that it's nobody else's position to legislate that. But at the same time, just like any other legal substance, you are responsible for your behaviors, whether you conduct those because of or in spite of the substances that you consume. So if you commit a crime, you commit a crime. It's not about using something. It's about using something and then, say, beating somebody's ass or getting in a car accident or being negligent or something like that. Just as long as you realize that you're going to be held accountable for shit, man, do you. We're all responsible adults. And if you're not, you're still going to be treated as though you were.
Yeah. And having actual information about things rather than just propaganda.
Right.
When you watch, I don't know what it was. I think it was the Quentin experiment. Quentin from the Quentin experiment posted a video where it was, it was some group, some maybe religious group or something. It might have been an evangelicist group or something like that. That was like, you know, parents for a better future against drugs or something like that. And you go into this group and this website, and there was this whole thing about LSD, and it was, you know, a whole bunch of the ages varied, but people who would just diminish the effects of LSD and just talk down on like how, you know, it made this dude crazy and it did this to this person. But they don't talk about any of the circumstances. They don't talk about predispositions. They don't talk about any of the actual information. They just tell stories and negative horror stories, you know. And I could tell you a very negative horror story too about my cousin having his liver transplanted because he ate mushrooms without any context. That's the story, right? And that's where a lot of these are, is stories without context. Now, if we dig into the context, the story is he ate poisonous mushrooms disguised as psychedelic mushrooms. So those are the context. That's the context behind, you know. And what was the mindset like? How much did he actually consume? Well, he consumed all of them compared to his buddies. You know, his buddies only had a little bit. They didn't have as bad of a reaction. He ate them all, you know. So like, there's a lot more context to it. What was the actual dose taken? What was the set in the setting? Where would this person, you know, a lot of these people's bad trips and stuff like that are because they took a handful of mushrooms at a music festival. Did you weigh it out? No. So you have no idea what the potency of the mushroom is either. No. So you don't know any of these things. And so all these horror stories and bad trip stories all come out.
They're breaking the set and setting thing, man.
None of the good stories, right? So this is where we have the place for the good stories, you know. So chat, I'm sure all you guys have good stories. If you have good stories, good trip stories, please include them in our comments section. I love to hear about all that stuff and maybe even discuss it on the following shows or anything like that, you know.
So this show has been about serendipity, and what's our other topic?
Building community through that, you know. Just I suppose that despite everything that's been going on in the world, just still be observant and still be yourself, because the world still is spinning, you know, it's still moving, and all of these serendipitous moments are still occurring, and they're probably occurring at a faster rate just because I think that we're evolving. I think our consciousness is evolving as we go through this. I think we're becoming smarter.
Start looking in the mirror and see if I was sprouting wings or something yet. We're talking about this evolution.
Lots of us are starting to experiment with microdosing, or just with cannabis, or any of these, or even with spearmint, you know, whatever it might be that just helps you.
Catnip.
Yeah, little things that help change your perception, or anything like incense or anything like that helps chill you out. Or we're becoming a more in tune culture to a lot of this kind of stuff. I think that the freedom of information that we have, all this widespread information, you know, I think it's a good thing. We can all express ourselves in lots of ways. A lot of people think it's a bad thing, but you know, I think it is good. Now, we can all also shut it off. You just shut it off. You know, that's what I really like about the garden. When I do shut it off, I can be with the nature.
I want to read martial artist statement. He says, hero dose is so misused and misunderstood. A hero dose is not simply a large dose. You don't muscle it, you surrender to it. You don't brace yourself and dumb it down with alcohol. You are vulnerable. I think you can really have a really rough way to go if you are going into it with the wrong mindset. It's not something to conquer. It's not something to overcome and battle through. And you know what I mean? Don't see yourself as the sailor that lashes himself to the main, you know, wheel in the storm and just being, you know, pounded and shit. Go with it. Just go with it. It's so much easier that way. Realize that you're a person in a room that has consumed something that for this moment is going to put you on your druthers. You know what I mean? You'll be like, whoa, okay. It's only temporary. There's nothing to freak out about. Everything will be fine.
The words temporary should almost
Yeah.
be a mantra. You
It's
know?
you're just a person in a room, man. That's all. And hopefully you're in a room. Hopefully you're in some kind of controlled setting where you're not just rolling these crazy ass dice. Like, I'm gonna take a whole bunch of stuff and see how much serendipitous shit happens. Like, you can do
You're
that.
well hydrated.
Don't do it on a road trip.
Do it with some sunscreen.
Do it at the Billy Strings show at the Capitol Theater this weekend.
Are you going?
No.
No.
I would love to. I
That'd be
would
so fun.
absolutely love to, dude. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he'll pull a residency for this weekend out there, dude. I have a feeling that like the Cap would give it to him very easily. He's doing 4 sold out shows straight. Killing it. He's killing it out there, dude. The
So
Capitol
fun.
Theater has some of the best light displays, has some of the best from what I've seen, just even in YouTube videos. You know, I've never been there. I really want to go there during some sort of a dead show or something, because they really light that place up with steelies. It looks really cool when they do. But I think they do that with every show. I think they just have very, very good lighting program
Oh, yeah.
quality there. DP says, just breathe. I always love that advice. Breathing is very important. So is this strawberries?
Mhm.
No, we're gonna smoke some strawberries and cream.
You know, it's a very like a Zen thing. Is I used to try to meditate, you know what I mean? So what I used to do is I would inhale for 7 seconds, slow 7 count, right? And then I would hold for 7 seconds. And then I would exhale for at least 7 seconds and try to actually clear all of the oxygen out of my lungs, just completely empty the entire diaphragm, man.
That's called square breathing.
Well,
Just so you know,
I did not know that that's what that's called.
there's a term for it.
There's a term for everything.
If
these
you
days.
can imagine it like a square, like you're breathing in,
Wouldn't it
then
be a
you're
triangle
holding,
since there's only
and then you're
3
breathing
sides instead of
out,
4?
and then you're holding. Oh well, I guess you hold at the bottom too.
The breathing pyramid,
There's a
No, you gotta
Maslow's
breathe at the
hierarchy of
bottom.
breathing.
Breathe at the bottom before you.
Well, one
before
thing
you
is to
breathe in.
breathe. This sounds really weird. Breathe through your like you're breathing through your stomach. Like do a breathe. Like when you inhale, your stomach should swell a little bit. As you exhale, it should empty a little bit. You have to learn to breathe and open your chest up and just. So going back to this breathing thing. So on this breathing triangle pyramid deal, each one of those, count 1. And if you do it right, and you have that 7 seconds of hold or whatever it may be for you, it'd be very difficult for you to hit 10 and remember what number you're on if you're doing it right. But if by chance you can get to the number 10 while not forgetting, was that 7 or 8? No, it was, nope, start back at 1. So you get back up again. Was that 8 or 9? Fuck, go back to 1 again. And you'll find that'll clear your mind, because you'll be way too busy focusing on that than you can all the negative internal dialogue and bullshit and self-doubt and anxiety and recriminations and everything else that might be trying to crowd you.
Speaking of
otherwise.
breathing, I kind of mentioned it in our chat yesterday. The feel good breathing or whatever that you kind of get when you micro or you take just the right amount of mushrooms, like that.
Just the right amount.
You're breathing just how you explained there from your diaphragm, and you're doing it heavily. And I not doing it. I just kind of put that together when you were talking there. Like anytime I've got that feeling or whatever, start the deep breaths, and you know that wave of everything's going to be okay comes over you. It's always breathing like that.
Well, a lot of times you'll find that you're like literally fighting yourself, and you're just taking these little teeny sips of air so that, you know what I mean, you just don't pass out.
I was
That's
just looking
a-
at some numbers real. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to thank everybody real fast. I have 44 likes and there's 38 people watching. Those are incredible numbers, I think. Thank you all very much.
I think everybody
saw,
that stopped through has dropped
Yeah,
a like for us.
I
and
really
maybe they're not still
appreciate
hanging
that.
out, but
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it looks like we've had like 49 people come sliding through. I think about this sometimes where it's just us kind of hanging out and hanging around with 49 people hanging out in a room would be incredible. You know, it'd be a hell of a
all
session
sharing
going on.
information and vibes, man.
Yeah, dude. I love it. Sorry, Becca.
You know what I like it is we have the same core group of people that come hang out with us every show. And you know who you are in chat.
Yes, absolutely.
And trust me, we know who you are too. With the first thing we'll be like, did you see that? I've never seen that person's name in chat before. What the fuck?
Every now and then I see a new
exactly.
name pop through, and I love it, man. I hope that we're reaching some of the audience, or you guys are sharing the videos or sharing the the fun or whatever it is, the experience.
It's a good time to hang out for a little while.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I look forward to it, getting a chance to just talk about whatever, hang out, and for us just kind of burn one. And this is our
cheers,
break
DP.
from
Thank you.
Worrying about what's going on the farm, and our break from worrying about what's going on in a lot of places. We can worry about what's going on with each other in this respect. We hear about stuff from the chat and everybody else. So I appreciate it. I mean, chat's always really cool, man. You guys are all rolling really nicely.
Chat has had cooler experiences,
in there.
and a lot of times more than me. I'll read somebody's comment. I'm like, God, they've had way fucking cooler experiences. They've gotten to go to some really awesome, shows or places.
Captain says Phil and Friends, and I have not seen Phil and Friends yet, and I really want to. They were supposed to be at a couple festivals, and they're always out on the West Coast though. So I'd really like to see them if they do an East Coast run. Or even catch them somewhere in the middle, like Red Rocks or something.
That's still a bit of a hoof to get there.
It is. It's a good, 17 hours from us, and not much of a flyer. I wouldn't mind flying, but it's.
Does she have to do the 18 BA with you? She got to put something in your milk.
Probably.
I ain't gonna drink no milk.
I used to fly all the time when I was a kid, man.
You're gonna put me in no plane.
I grew up on airplanes. I objectively understand the safety behind
I would
them.
say I think that you've probably flown more than anybody else is on the show. Like I'm pretty sure
probably.
of that.
I used to go to Florida 3 times a year up until I was a teenager. From the time I was a baby, we'd go down there and visit. My dad's family was all down there, and my mom worked for the airlines as I was growing up, and she just retired within the last few years. So we always got to fly.
Shout out to Mama Red.
I've been around the world, and I fucking can't thank her enough.
I like to play this game with Red. Sometimes I'll try to think of like a not too bizarre place and ask him if he's been there. And he's surprised me so far. Like almost every time he said he's been there. So Red, did you ever go? Did you ever go to India?
No, that is definitely a destination though. It's a destination. I really want to go. I want to go to India. There's a lot of places I have not been. I've only been to a handful of places, but it is a lot of traveling back and forth to the southern states, mostly.
Mine was all army shit. So like I got to go to like cool countries, but for not cool reasons. So
didn't get to really see around.
No, we were kind of frowned upon in some of the places that I was stationed at. So they were like, you might not want to go wandering too far. Okay, no problem. Let's put our hooves up here and we'll hang out for a little while.
I've been to France and Germany.
She's been around.
Where'd you go? Where did you go in Germany?
I went to Stuttgart.
Stuttgart is down south and near Bavaria. Yes.
Yeah, my stepdad was used to work for Bosch, and so he did some training there.
Sweet.
For like a month, and so me and my mom went out there the last couple of weeks he was there.
Whenever I think of Stuttgart, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I've been there too. I think when you're on the Autobahn, though, that's the place where they have all of the vineyards. Like as you're driving along, you can just see tons and tons and tons of fucking vineyards, man.
Yeah, a little bit further south. I went to a wildlife zoo, but it was all open.
Like deer and shit?
Like a bunch of, there were deer, but a bunch of other stuff too. And it was just all open and they were just everywhere. And it was super cool.
Sounds like cool zoo.
And Ireland was my favorite place I've been. I love
That's funny.
Ireland.
You and Painted Lady both have been to Ireland. I have not. I've been to England though. I've been to England.
I've been to England. I've gotten to walk Abbey. I walked across Abbey Road in my bare feet.
Oh, did you get the British Wookfoot? What is British Wookfoot called anyway?
There's a lot of.
Wookity foot.
There was a greasy road.
Wookity foot.
Wookity foot. Wookity
Have some
foot.
proper wookity foot.
Wookity
There we
foot.
go.
Wookity
There we
footity.
go.
I wrote on the crosswalk sign, something, I don't know, some. I think I wrote while my guitar gently weeps, rest in peace, George and John. And I wrote that on the wall right outside Abbey Road Studios. Wall is completely littered with stuff. A lot of people talking about Oasis.
So quick.
A lot of people bashing the Beatles, talking about Oasis.
Give
This
them
is
some
mind you,
wookity
this
foot.
is like
That
2004.
wookity foot down on that one.
Yeah, like 2004 or something like that. Oasis was kind of big at the time, and
Oh, I think you
They were all-
accidentally got Jay.
Whoop. My bad, Jay. I got you.
I think you got him caught in a cross.
Casualty.
Oh.
Yeah, wookity foot's got spread. My bad.
Got a little carried away.
wookity fookity.
It just makes sense if you think about
That's
it.
great. Let's see. One a memorable one is China. Beijing was very memorable. Spent about a week there. That changed my life. I think
that's it, Red. Is like you can't live and die in the same fucking city, man. It's the 21st century. Those days are done, man. Like get out there and realize that there's a whole world and all of the people in it for you out there still. And it's just you cannot be small-minded anymore. You just can't be. Like, come on.
My mom and dad were in New Zealand when COVID was creeping on.
Ooh.
right in the beginning of 2020.
They were like the ones that like threw the clamp down on, locked all kinds of shit down too.
Yeah,
Like,
year
but I
before
think they were the
that-
first ones that
year
didn't
before
have
that
it.
they went to Bora Bora. They've been really around the world. They've been doing some good traveling. They're doing the retired
That's so awesome.
traveling. Yeah.
I love
Well,
traveling. It's so
dude,
so cool to be in a different place and people just live a little differently.
You know what I liked?
Everyone's the same.
When we were on the dead lot and those people had those humongous fucking like transits and shit.
Hell yeah.
I could do that.
With the beds and stuff built in. We're gonna get
Just-
a camper. We're
just-
gonna be around there.
So you're not gonna make the Dagobah tent of tents with tarps and everything else at Luzerne. Your guys
There's
are gonna come in
always-
style.
No, that'll be off the back
There's
of the
always
galley.
space for that.
I'm not gonna get a big camper. I'm gonna get something that I can be out. I really like these
Like a teardrop.
teardrops.
Yeah.
I like that.
Those are cool.
I like that there's not a bathroom inside the same like area as the sleeping
Yeah.
arrangements
We don't
are.
need
I
a little
like
too
that
close
there's
quarters
not-
for
We don't
that.
need
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You know, I kind of like I prefer camping.
Hey,
right?
he says that now, but remember Luzerne only had like the 2 bathrooms and you had to know about the secret second bathroom to know that there
Oh, I
was
love the secret second bathroom.
I didn't tell anybody about
Shout
that.
out
one.
to that
Everybody
bathroom.
going to the bathroom. I'm creeping around the bathroom.
All right, well, Painted Lady went in the porta potty the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Bummer with that one.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
I only went in there
Okay.
once or twice. Yeah, Porta John's a #1 deal. The the galleys outside on those things, you can just toss up a pop-up or something. You know, honestly, I like all of the everything's outside with them. You know, you could still toss a tent out there, and
Yeah,
you know,
You could toss a tent that hooks right to it, man.
Yep.
We don't need a camper because we want to do most of our stuff outside. We're not
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
be sleeping, so
No.
I
just a little thing.
yeah,
You
I
know
kind of
what?
like
we gotta
having
try to
something
get Robert
should
has
dry
got to
in.
come out for Luzerne this year because he can come out and spread smiles amongst everybody.
Oh
It'll
yeah,
be really, really, really good fucking idea, man.
yeah. We need
Put that in your calendar, Cap.
Yeah, Luzerne's gonna be fun this year. We get that.
I like that is
in
like there's
July,
the vending and then
end of
there's
July.
time to hang out. Like there's time
Right.
for both. And we were
Well,
talking
there-
about we don't hang out enough. So there we
That
go.
gathering I'd say over doubled in a year. I cannot wait to see how many people show up this year.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna have to spread along that whole back line against the cemetery. Just keep going way down towards the woods and just spread it all the way out.
We gotta get there early this year. That's for sure.
And last year everyone
We'll be
went to bed really
Taking
early
over the
first night.
cemetery in no time.
Well, it rains
was-
cats and fucking dogs otherwise.
I slept so good out there, man. I don't know. It was nice sleeping weather outside.
Who was
Oh,
it? Larry.
Robert's going to
Larry was the
Thailand.
one that was fucking flooding, right? I think Stony was good. DP was good. I think one of them had they were right next to you, abolished.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
and right
That whole
behind
line,
me.
right
Literally right
you,
behind
right.
us.
Oh
right
yeah,
behind
we
us.
could hear Larry singing every
Flooded
morning.
out. See,
Yeah,
That's what woke me up.
Stoney got it bad. He was swimming.
what they should have did was got out there with the mallet and started digging trenches.
Yep.
They needed to trench the old river, divert the river.
That was very nice. I
Oh,
woke up and I wasn't flooded, and that was very nice.
I'm bringing my fucking entrenchment tool next time for just such an
So
occasion.
Don't worry,
You
we'll
need
have
it. You
ours.
need to bring a pick.
Yeah.
You gotta bring a pick. I mean, dude, all those pine needles, that stuff was just like spongy.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
Well, the first day it was in all the open weed,
What's that? In the open weed?
all the sand. Remember
All
how
the
sandy
sand.
it was?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
The rain helped it, you know.
Yeah, chilled it out.
Yeah.
It made my edibles look disgusting because anything you put out on the table just got covered in dust, even though it was in a packaging.
Yeah. Hey,
And bubbles. We had
Oh yeah, you
got
guys get
bubble
carried away
stuff
with the bubble gum.
everywhere.
gotta have, I guess, good, like, what would you call it? Like market garden advice. If you're gonna do a market with products from your garden, well, if it's vegetables and stuff, you
Don't show
probably
them
have
all.
it out.
Show
But like,
one.
yeah, exactly.
Show
Yeah,
one and store the
yeah,
others in a bag,
yeah,
and then just sell
exactly.
from the bag and not from the table. And at the end
Yep.
of the day, you can do what you want with that, whether you
Exactly.
compost it
You
or
have to have,
donate it to somebody else to
Just
wash.
don't
and-
have it all open in the
and that's
sand.
exactly it. All that stuff
Right.
that we had out like under the glass, that stuff never got sold. That stuff
It was
ended
ground
getting
up and
smoked.
smoked later on that
It
night.
was-
That's
it
all
was
at the
dry.
end.
It was sitting under that glass. And
Actually, I
dried
think
out,
we
you know.
still have it.
We may still
the
have it in the
bags.
bags. Yeah, we may ooh, shit, we should smoke that.
Okay.
It's
We
just
have
smoke that.
available weed. We got
There you
there's
go.
probably a rainbow driver.
There
bud
should be a
over there.
rainbow driver in there.
Some good out of that.
This
Probably got
is
some-
R&D too, because we're checking out our packaging and seeing how it survived these many
yeah,
months.
this went into a Mylar, so I'm sure
Yeah,
it's good.
gotta grab something to drink. real quick.
The glass packaging holds up pretty good, actually. We have an eighth of citric that's been sitting around, and that's been holding up pretty well. They all left me. So you got, oh damn, you got a little bit of everything too. Hell yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Oh, we have weed. Dude, we're actually out of weed.
Well, they're
So-
both gone.
Now we have all this weed. Yeah, they're both gone. We have Death Star. I'm not seeing Rainbow Driver.
We didn't have Rainbow Driver.
Oh damn. But we have Citric. Is that strawberries and cream? Look, guys, we have some Citric. Skilbo was asking when the next time Citric came around. Goddess of the
Death
Moon.
Star,
Here's some Citric. I'm gonna smoke some.
Lemon
And
Dozy.
you can smoke some vicariously through us right now. I'm sorry that we do not have any more than the sample baggie at the moment. And honestly, I wouldn't give you some shit that sat in a case and then is like 6 months old. Well, 4 months old.
Which one you got? What you get?
Oh, I
We
have
have
Citric.
everything.
So we're gonna smoke some Citric, and I was just shouting out at
Ooh.
Goddess of the Moon about the fact that we had some, and yeah, we got a little bit of everything over here, everything except Rainbow Driver, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna smoke some Citric, and then I was letting Goddess of the Moon know that we're gonna have some fresh Citric coming down in like, I hate
Sweet.
to say it, like 2 months, 2.5 months. It'll probably, we don't have any right now, so this is gonna be all that we have. But
Ooh, I see
don't
something
know
in
what it is.
chat that I wanted to ramp onto. It was really nice because we get to hang out with Eagle and all of his crew as well. They were just on the opposite, like Blue Kiss was on the edge, and then there was like a little bit of a distance and some vendors, like their tents and shit, and then all of Eagle and all them over there was pretty cool.
He was nice enough to take a few minutes and put in like a nice little shout out in our Luzarine video too, if you guys missed that.
oh, you totally did.
I need
Oh, here.
that.
So how's it smelling out of the grinder? Just fine.
Good. She's gonna roll a fatty, so I guess we need the whole. I forgot it was only a gram. I know we
Yeah,
did do
this is
like
only like a bud or two.
bud.
So that's all you need for one joint, you know.
Yeah.
Lemony, limey, and skunky.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. I
miss Rainbow Driver, man.
I was debating on dropping Rainbow Driver off for the Hash Bash Cup. We have some coming down, and I'm pretty sure that I can still get samples in until like early March or something like that. Don't quote me on this, guys, but I
somewhere
think I
around
can
that.
still get samples in the next couple of weeks. So I'm taking it down. I feel like I can still, I'm debating on entering Rainbow Driver into that. I don't know
Do
if
you
I
want to get
should.
it tested first or no?
No, I mean, I'd test it if I was going to enter,
Winner.
you know,
That's what
it's, I'm not testing it. It's not going to sway my.
I'm gonna mute you.
I'm gonna mute you because I'm gonna roll this shit up and I'm not gonna make noise on there. What do you think
So
about
anyway.
it?
I think if you're gonna enter anything, just my personal opinion, my very, I guess can be. I'd like to say I'd like to tell the truth on strains if it sucks for or whatever, but hands down that Rainbow Driver, like Citrique is amazing, but Rainbow Driver is just better in my opinion.
It's a different
stone.
high.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Citrique is my daytime, and the Rainbow is, oh shit, I'm kind of fucking stoned.
I feel like Rainbow is, yeah,
A little more stony.
Rainbow has that. What's
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
And I think that's important.
the flavor holds on it. I think that there's a lot to that high terpene. I don't think it'll wash well at all. You know, I tried washing it, but I also washed it with Death Star and I had a decent yield, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly of the Death Star. Like that last bit that I had, it was a mix, Rainbow and Death Star mix. That was, I'm pretty sure, mostly Death Star
You don't
wash.
think it'll wash well, Rainbow?
Yeah, it's just very greasy. The trichomes are super little.
So would
It's
pressing it be better?
Probably just
that how
pressing
that
the
works?
flower in that respect, or
You
honestly,
could run into the same thing that happened with my OG because it's really greasy too, and the heads are somewhat small. When they extracted it, shout out to Sequence, it came out with a real piney taste. And I mean, pine's in the terpene profile, but it's definitely not dominant in the flower at all when you're
I'm
smoking it.
curious to what some hydrocarbon extraction would do to it, like sending it over to, say, Fagroli, for example, or something like that, and seeing what what could come out of it. I really think that'd be. I need to get a freezer. Is what I want to
fucking
do.
deliciousness, man.
Well, I'm sure I could send some cured
Oh,
material. It wouldn't be.
I tried a Sunday driver, like
I just don't wanna waste
rosin, and I
his
really
time.
liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the whole entering cups thing yet. It's not much of an expense. I mean, it does add a lot of. I feel like it adds a lot of value to your brand if you get some sort of a recognizable plaque or something. Especially, you know, you see them and people have them at their booths.
Like Fagroli?
Too. Yeah, Fagroli brings his cups, and those are big because those are from actual high times. You know, it's huge. It's huge to have. A lot of people display them, and yeah, you know, and a lot of times what you see is, you know, the people that have those good awards and the people that have good products, and you don't even have to have an award, but the ones with good products, you know, typically, and here's just a tip, guys, don't keep your whole batch of product just wide out and open. It's good. A lot of people are able to look at it and smell it and see the structure and everything, but you're really diminishing
Again, sell out of the jar.
your return on the back end if you don't get rid of that whole thing right there. And if somebody doesn't just buy the whole thing and you're giving it away to a whole bunch of people, that's a ton of exposure. You're giving a ton of people diminishing quality while you're just standing there out in the heat. You know, it's field heat. You're keeping it in your field heat. You know, the number one rule when harvesting and getting ready for your market is to get off that field heat, man. Get into the shade, and especially out of those elements. In Luzerne, you get dust. And so if you're vending at Luzerne or anywhere that's, you know, in the woods or something like that, you know that it's not a concrete foundation. You know that there's people driving around or walking and stuff. Expect there to be sand and dust, and that stuff will land. You know, I bet out of that pack, when you look down at the bottom there, you know, there's probably a little bit of keef and a lot of sand in the bottom of those bags. And having to filter that shit out, dude, is going to be a nightmare. And or the people trying to get the product after that are going to call they're going to call your bluff when they find sand in the bottom of their bag, and they're probably never going to go back to you. You know what I mean? So there's huge quality. Some people like, you know, like that just quick profit, and they
Red's
don't
out
care.
here selling weed in the motherfucking Mirage and shit.
Well,
Fucking middle of Sahara.
could you imagine? Could you
The
imagine
Gobi.
having to? Dude, it was very tricky. it was incredibly tricky working in the rain, because in the rain you have a completely different obstacle where all of your open cannabis now is either going to get wet and then subjected to mold, mildew in the future, or anything like that, or just the high humidity anyway. So as soon as you crack your bag or do anything, it just starts absorbing that humidity. You know,
I was rolling pre-rolls in the rain.
yeah, you can. I mean, fuck around. But I mean, anybody that's ever been to a festival for a weekend knows once you start getting into that jar, or if you bring your weed in a baggie and you don't keep it in a jar or something like that, it gets fucked after a while.
You're not gonna have a good time.
It's moist, especially in August when the humidity's high. Like, yeah, the marketing's a completely different thing, especially if it's outdoor. Outdoor markets, outdoor anything professional outdoor. I know a lot of you guys probably do stuff like catering, or I do outdoor DJing, dude. It starts raining and you're DJing, you're fucking scrambling, pulling shit inward, trying to roll my joints outside. I like the wind. I'm sure most of us have our tricks. What do you guys have like a little Tupperware that you take out? And I've seen people bring out a Tupperware, keep all the shit in a Tupperware, and then it's got a high
Depends.
size.
Are we talking about high winds for lighting, or are we
winds.
talking about high winds for rolling?
Rolling. You gotta have any, like, you have a little thing that you usually do, or that you have?
I'm just big enough motherfucker that if I usually turn my back to the direction of the wind, I can usually pull it in pretty close here and get it done. Yeah.
I don't have.
Yeah, and if the situation shitty enough, I just won't bother with it. Like, yeah,
a little bit of a thing, a little bit of a lip on these like little metal trays. They can kind of keep the wind out of it. I used to do I wouldn't use the dollar bill to roll. I would use a dollar bill rolling tray. You just crease a dollar bill in half and break up on the dollar bill, and then use it to dump into the.
That sounds extremely dirty.
You might as well roll
you
with
wash
it
your
now.
hands every time you touch cash these days. So
Oh yeah, well
can't even imagine.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you end up smoking glitter and all kinds of shit. Now you know you're doing that shit.
You gotta wash your hands first.
Wash the joint.
I was counting the till. I'm counting the till. And there's a glitter bomb. There's a glitter bomb dollar bill, and I was like, "Ah, man,
no!
I don't fucking wash my hands after touching this." Was definitely in some sweaty G-string.
Ooh,
not mine. It was a glittery dollar. You know where all glittery dollar bills have been. They got glitter on them somehow. That was, yeah, definitely. Ooh, that's actually not bad.
The crowd falls silent.
I like the joint, but it
stripper
tends to
terps.
be,
there it is. I was waiting for somebody to say it first.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. You guys ever experience any random synchronicities? I have so many, dude. It's just so weird. So weird. This should have been the precursor topic for last week's show, but
so we got.
I had a somewhat recent one actually. With I went online because I've been needing to reorder all my amendments for my beds and whatnot. I've been really running fallow for probably almost a year, or I wouldn't say a year, about 8 months or so. And I decided to order Nectar for the Gods one shot. And every day I normally go and check my archive because I like to see what I was doing on that day, whatever, 3-4 years ago. I think that's cool. And the thing that I was doing 3 years ago was testing out Nectar for the Gods one shot. That kind of stuff just is, it's too cool for me. And
yeah,
it's a signal that I picked the right thing to me anyways. I followed, the force led me to using that again because I did have good results in it. I just stopped using it because of it was just cheaper to use down to earth at the time.
I would use that then. I would give that a shot.
Yeah, it'll mix really well with the conditioners I have, and it also gets the recharge will cover its weak nitrogen level.
Trust your instincts, man. I'd say on behalf of like this entire little conversation or whatever this was supposed to be.
Whatever it was supposed to be. It was about serendipity, Red.
Whatever you believe, but if you don't believe serendipity, right? If you don't believe in the synchronicities or anything like that, at least trust your instincts. You know, a lot of times that first instinct was usually the right one. And a lot of times our instincts keep us out of trouble or alive in many, many moments, man. Had I have not closed my trunk and stepped 1 foot out of the way, I wouldn't be here having these discussions with you right now. It would split second like that, a van blew past me, skimmed its tire on my rear bumper where I was just standing because it was flying past me perpendicular to where I was standing. In reverse, this van was flying. Creamed the truck that was parked next to me, blew out windows in the van and everything. This was kid got his driver's license that day. He was 16 years old doing donuts in the parking lot of the skate park. I'm not saying this is serendipitous to anything, but it was an instinct that I had to step the fuck away from my car for a second while this idiot was putting his car into reverse. And I didn't see him coming at me or anything like that. I just fucking was walking into my car. I had just closed my trunk. I yelled
Spider
at him.
sense, man.
I just
Spider
yelled at him
sense.
that he was being an idiot. I was like, slow down, you're being an idiot. You know what I mean? And he kicked his car in reverse.
I don't think he needed to be told. I think he got that instant karma.
And he blew out the fucking truck that was next to me. It was a skate park where it was like, you know, bikers and all kinds of shit. And the dude had a bike in the back of his, you know, BMX stickers on his truck and shit like that. I was like, this kid's gonna get his ass whooped. BMX riders in there fucking gonna be pissed off. The bed of his truck just got fucking turned into an L. You know what I mean? The van was fucked. It was his mom's van. You know, he just got his driver's license that day. Cops took him away for attempted manslaughter on me because he fucking, oh yeah. Had he hit my buddy's car who was right next to me, had he had turned his wheel just a little bit more and swerved in my buddy's car, I would have been pinched. Had I gone over to the other side, had he have hit me, he would have pinched me between the van and the truck. Had I have like still been standing there, I was just putting my rollerblades in my car. Close the trunk, step, boom. Like right in front of me, practically ran over my feet.
When?
When I was maybe like 18, something like that, 18, 19.
Whatever
I might even have been
happened
older
to
than that. I
day?
might even have been 20 or 21 or something like that. He didn't get his license back until he was like probably 21. He was going back to
Good
he
mic
went to
went
jail.
out on me, Aldi. We need to hit up Sequence for some production funds.
You said your mic went out on you?
The light on the mic.
No, yeah, my good one. He was asking what happened to my mic with the light on it. My blue mic. It's yeah.
Oh,
I believe
okay.
the cord went out, but I haven't been able to test that. This one sounds all right, I would hope.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds clear.
Call it the Jack Greenstock special. It's got a sock on it, and it's a webcam. Professional.
Do you have stripper dollars too?
I'm past that life, Skilbo.
Okay. All right. Turn it over a new leaf for 2022.
I just said Meals on Wheels. That's fine. Yeah, oh yeah, we were talking about getting out there, but it's the end of the show now.
Stoned.
So, you guys have any final shout outs? Have anything last couple minutes here I'd like to say?
Thank you to everybody in chat for coming through and hanging out with us tonight and adding to the conversation. And thanks to you, Red and Becca, for letting us get together. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. I mean, it's a great way to actually start the weekend, really.
I like the cut of your jib, sir.
It is. We got to work in the morning, and then after that, we get a couple of days off. Yeah. Spend some time at the farm, get some work done, you know?
No days off.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start making some content. It's going to start getting to be spring. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Bucky, you have anything else you'd like to say to everybody?
You know, synchronicities and serendipitous stuff is is everywhere and is so real. And I got to meet you guys through, you know, meeting Red, and I think that's in itself super cool. Happy to talk to you guys always.
The force. And may it all be with us, or be with us all. Man, I'm high.
Yeah, man. No, you're totally right though.
Yeah, man.
Find meaning in everything. You know, I think there's meaning in everything, and you can find little bits.
Look
I
at
don't know
Jason
what-
Eystone. Jason
you don't-
Eystone says what? Polypeptides.
Polypeptides, dude. Polypeptides.
No show is
Take
complete.
your mushrooms. Be safe though. Taste your medicine. Taste your medicine. Test your medicine.
Taste
I'm
the
telling you.
Test your
smoking
medicine,
great
then
stuff
taste your
tonight.
medicine.
Taste the rainbow, baby.
Yeah, seriously, everybody, be safe out there and inform, educate, but don't tolerate.
Adapt, overcome.
Butt chug
Peace out, everybody.
responsibly.
And butt chug responsibly. You guys are all wonderful. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you all.
Pro
Let's hang
Show
out next
live
week, okay?
Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Late sesh, 11 p.m. And I'm not
Monday.
going to say that it's tomorrow because it's not tomorrow anymore, guys.
We-
It's on Sunday and Monday. So
Because it's today.
because this is
All right.
Thursday.
This is
Going
today.
into Friday.
This is
This
always
today.
going to be
Force.
today.
That
Noonish?
is then.
Saturdays?
And later is now. Isn't that wild?
Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo.